For those of you listening who are building a business around helping others change their lives, whether that is in health and wellness, maybe you're coaching people in their business or their purpose, maybe you have fallen into the same trap that I have in the past, which is thinking that I need to create offerings that fit what other people are comfortable paying. Well, today's episode, I'm going to break down for you why this is such a disservice to the people that we ultimately want to impact, and a better question that we can ask ourselves when refining the products and services that we offer to the world. Welcome back to the podcast. It is March, which you guys, this means we are literally 6 months away from Powerhouse Women 2020. If you don't know what that is our live event. That was actually how this whole exciting endeavor, I guess you could call it, of Powerhouse Women began, was with our live event. And we bring it back every single September, and it's just been so incredible to watch it grow, to watch this community evolve, and this is going to be our biggest year ever. I will never forget last year walking into our Friday night kickoff party and meeting so many women who had actually found out about the event through the podcast. And it was at that moment for me that I realized just how powerful this platform could be and how much our community was growing around the globe. So I know September might feel like it's a ways away, but you're going to notice I'm going to mention it every episode that airs in March, because you have an opportunity to save on your ticket for Powerhouse Women 2020 until March 31st. You know we love to reward action around here, so we are rewarding you by getting your ticket early. So if you get your ticket before March 31st, you save some money, and I like to say, this is just my personal belief, I believe that the event actually starts the moment that you register. Like the moment you get your ticket, it starts to feel real. You start to make your plans and make connections with fellow women who are going to be in that room, and we don't want you to wait. So you can find all the info. Right now, it's going to link you directly to our ticket event site, Eventbrite, I should say. So if you go to powerhousewomen.co/event, you can read all about it there. And oh my goodness, we have so many announcements and surprises coming for you over the next couple of months as we count down. You're probably going to get tired of hearing me talk about it because I'm very biased. Like, you should know this information is not an unbiased opinion, but it is my favorite day of the entire year. Hands down, it's my favorite. And I can't wait to meet you there. So we're going to talk a little bit today about a topic that it's kind of been this theme that has come up on a lot of the strategy calls that I've been having with the participants of our mentorship and mastermind program. So these are women who have businesses, and we really are focused on strategy and just how to scale their business, how to simplify. And no matter where you are currently at in your business, in fact, actually, I think this conversation is one that's equally important when you're just getting started. If someone would have had this conversation with me in the very beginning, it would have saved me a lot of headaches. So no matter where you're at in your business, this conversation was one that I knew that you would benefit from too. So especially those of you, like now when I think about the businesses I've been having this conversation around, a lot of them are more service-based businesses, but that doesn't mean that if you have a product-focused business or a retail store, an in-person business, that it doesn't relate. So I'm going to try to give examples that you can learn from no matter where you're at. But like I said, does not matter whether you are at the scaling phase of your business or just getting started. This is a conversation I honestly wish someone would have had with me in the beginning, because I actually think that's when we're most susceptible to asking ourselves the wrong questions when it comes to creating our offerings. So the conversation I've been having with a lot of the members of our mentorship program is this. More is not always better when it comes to our products and services, meaning the number of options that we give people. More is not always better. So here's the trap that I know I've fallen into, and I talk to a lot of others that fall into, is thinking, okay, gosh, I need to have something for everyone, and I need to create offers that fit into all different price points so that people will see that they want to work with me. Now, there's nothing wrong with asking that question, and depending on your business model, that actually may be appropriate. It may be something where you have an introductory offer and then you step people up into the different levels of working with you. But here's a better question that I want to pose for all of us to think about when we're creating our offerings or refining our offerings, and it's this. So instead of asking, what do I need to offer in order to meet people where they're at and find something that they're willing to pay me for? So that's one question. But I think a better question is, what will actually serve the customer, the client, best? Like, what will actually create the transformation in their life that they came to me looking for? What is the right offering that I know is going to make the difference in their life versus make them comfortable? So when we start to ask ourselves this question, I believe it actually gets very easy to refine our offerings. And I think it can actually make a lot of businesses a lot more profitable. So I'm going to give an example to really drive this home. I was having a conversation with one of our mastermind members, and her business model is more of typical, how do I want to say this? She is kind of like a life coach. So she's coaching women specifically who really have stopped dreaming. They haven't really thought about what they want out of life in maybe a long time. Maybe they have kids that are starting to grow and leave the house, and she offers this incredible transformational coaching program to really help them start dreaming again, right? The kind of stuff that when you hear about, when I first heard about her business, I remember having that feeling, just that I'm so glad that someone is serving this demographic. Like, this is so needed in the world. And my goodness, by her awakening these dreams that women have, how many other problems are we going to solve? Like, what is the ripple effect? So right away, I knew she had such a beautiful intention and heart behind her business, like seriously changing lives. And we were walking through her offerings. That's kind of what we do on these strategy calls. We take their big income goal and we work backward. So we go line by line, what they offer, and then, about how much revenue each generates. And so she was walking me through her offers. She had a one call. They could book one call with her, kind of like a trial call, if you will. They could sign on for 1 month. They could do 3 months. And then she happened to mention, she said, and, I just mapped out this 6-month program that I'm thinking of offering. I wanted to get your thoughts and see if you think that this would be a good one to offer. And I said, okay, let's talk through this. So first of all, I have people really think about, where are they in their zone of genius? We're not going to talk about that on today's episode, but this is actually a great question to ask yourself. Is sometimes it's very easy to get caught in, what's the part of my business that creates the most revenue? What's the most profitable? That is an important question to answer, but also I think it has to be coupled with, where are you truly operating in your zone of genius? So we had that conversation and she said, gosh, this one-on-one coaching is really what makes my heart sing. And then I said, okay, so now let's think about your client and the difference that you want to make in their world. How are you going to transform their life? And I said, okay, so you're life coaching, you're teaching them new habits, new ways of thinking, all sorts of tools for their toolbox. I said, at what point along the way does the light bulb really turn on? Where do you see that the work you've been doing with them starts to sink in, their new habits start to stick, you really start to see them turn a corner in terms of how they're showing up in the world? And she said to me, it's about month 4. And I said, well, interesting. So you're telling me that you actually need about 6 months to truly start to change someone's freaking life like you're committed to doing. And, because we know if the light bulb just starts to turn on month 4, then they probably need a couple more months of like really implementing and having that accountability. And she said, yeah, you're right. And I said, well, so it's really important that we look at this, because if we offer a 1-call option, 1 month of coaching, 3 months of coaching, it almost makes it seem as though transformation is possible in a shorter amount of time, versus really standing for what we know is going to make the difference in their lives that they're coming to you for, and saying, in all of my time working with people, here's what I know to be true. About month 4 is when this is going to start to really take hold of you and start to transform your life. So I'd be doing you a disservice if I offer you anything less. Now, we did actually re-engineer some different offerings that could lead people up to the point of being ready for her 6-month program. However, we really went back to what she knew to be true. And again, the answer to that better question, what will actually serve their needs best? And what she knew to be true is that she needed that minimum of 6 months with a new client to really achieve the results that they were ultimately coming to her for. So I just want you to pause right here and think about, does this apply to your business? Where are you maybe afraid that people won't pay for the offering that you really know you're supposed to offer? And so instead, maybe you're trying to accommodate and you're trying to create something that's a little more comfortable, thinking, gosh, if I just get them in the door, maybe then they'll see. And while that's not a terrible business strategy, right? So even with her 6-month program, we created some things that could easily lead into that natural conversation. But here's what we did, and here's what I want you to take away from this. We simplified down to one signature offering that then we built everything else to lead naturally into. So she said almost no one books a one-off call. I said, okay, great. That one's gone, right? And she said, I don't really have a lot of people booking 1 month of coaching either. So I said, okay, great. So we actually re-engineered a way for her to lead people into her signature program. One option, so there wasn't a bunch of confusing options. There wasn't a lot for people to have to, make a decision between. And we really talked about how to posture her and all the conversations that she has with these potential clients around showing the value of why 6 months really was what they wanted. The transformation that they wanted was really at the end of this, 4 to 6 month period, versus having to book 2-3 month packages back to back, which is how she'd been doing it in the past. So here's what I said to her, and I want to say to you, this is a reminder for all of us, myself included, that we are not in the business of making people comfortable. We're in the business of changing lives and making an impact. So it really is up to us to stand for the products and the services that we know without fail are going to produce that result. So I want to hear from you. What are you taking away from this episode? Did you find that this relates to where you're at in your business? I want to know if you really are going to take this on and think about what is actually going to be best for your client or for the outcomes they're coming to you for versus what's comfortable. Because you're not in the business now of making people comfortable. Now we know, so we can make a better choice. So I would love if you would connect with us on Instagram. If you're not already connected to the Powerhouse Women community, all of our links are in the show notes, but it's just Powerhouse_women. And like I said, we have so many surprises leading up to the Powerhouse Women event in September. We are doing some pretty epic giveaways. Like we just did a giveaway last week. A member of our community won a MacBook and a couple people won a new iPhone. Like we really are having some fun over on Instagram. So I'm just saying, you're missing out if you're not already connected with us over there. So make sure to screenshot this episode, share it with your friends. If you got something out of this, please let us know, because we really do design these episodes around you and what our community needs to hear and what we're hearing from you. So I can't wait to connect over on Instagram. And until the next episode, just remember, girl, you're not in the business of making other people comfortable. You're in the business of changing lives.